What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Williams, back with another episode of Elephant in the Room, where we figure out where people start and how they got successful and where they're going, just to let you know that you can do it too. Today's topic, what we're discussing, is mental health awareness. I am joined today with my guest, President Petillo. How are you doing today?
Great. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell me about your background.
Sure. Well, many years ago, I did my graduate work at Seton Hall, Fordham, and Rutgers, and my thought was to be working in mental health clinics in mental health. Back then, it was dating myself, but known as the Great Society, when community mental health was a priority of the administration, Washington administration. And so during those beginning years, I worked anything from group therapy in drug clinics to sheltered workshops with multiply handicapped individuals, adults, where they came out to work, but there was a support service for these multiply handicapped adults, to actually community mental health centers, which had what they then called partial hospitalization, which meant you came in during the day and you went home to your family or a group home at night, to mental health counseling centers, and it also included a very small residential component. So I spent early part of my career working in those environments, and thought I was going to be there for the duration, but fate would have other things.
Absolutely. So in these mental health facilities, you deal with people that have mental disabilities like bipolar disorder, maybe something along the lines of depression, something that is a serious medical condition. Being a person that has worked in the healthcare industry of that nature, how important is it to take care of yourself?
I think it's critical, and I would hope that now, much less than then, the stigma is certainly minimalized, or should be. Back then, it was unusual to have these facilities popping up all over the country, actually. And as a result, it took a while to get people to come to facilities, more so for the day-to-day counseling or therapeutic sessions or group sessions. The partial hospitalization and the inpatient, those are people who were more severe and recognized the need, or their families recognized the need. But I think it's critical because all of us at some point in time become anxious, depressed. It's just a matter of what degree and how we're able to cope with it. But I think there should be nothing. It's no different than going to a physician because you have headaches or because you can't digest properly. It's something that we should all be aware of and sensitive to, and not relate any stigma to it.
Absolutely. So it's just like getting a checkup at the doctor's office or getting a physical.
Exactly.
I think that's fantastic, because with, your mental health, it's very important. I think, in my opinion, it's just as important as being physically healthy when you're mentally healthy.
Absolutely.
Because you're not only exercising your body, but you should be exercising your mind daily, and it's really important to not get to that point where you have to visit somebody, or your family, your loved ones are like, you need help, and then you not even realize it. And I think that's really important. But moving on, so you've been in the presidential role for a while now. How many years have you been a president?
President here, going on my 11th year, and I've been president in other institutions for maybe a total of 8-9 years.
And what other institution were you a president at?
Seton Hall.
Seton Hall?
University.
Absolutely. And so how is that role of being a leader? You deal with a lot of younger adults who are trying to figure out themselves, their career path, and you're kind of at the head of it, not only for students, but faculty, staff, and other people. What is that leadership role like for you? What is that? How is that?
Well, I like to reduce it to a simple word, but a very complex understanding of that word, and that's presence. I think it's important for leadership to be present to its constituents, not as some super privileged individual or role, but as someone that is encouraging, affirming, and willing to walk the journey with them, or certainly to help them and see that they get help during that journey.
I like that because, everybody needs help, not only from the president of the university, but everybody around them. And it's important to develop with the people around you. I think in certain areas of life, you need somebody to be there for you and guide you, whether that be your friends, your family, or the director of something.
Exactly.
You were also the president of the Blue Cross.
Yes, I was. For a little over 2 years back in Jersey. When I was president of Seton Hall, chancellor at Seton Hall, I was sitting on the board at Blue Cross, and then became later on president and CEO of Blue Cross. And it was interesting. Even there, took a lot of the collegiate experience with me to the corporate, and namely the fact that I would meet with, we had 4,000 employees, that I would meet with them, large groups or whatever, but I would meet with them where we'd have town hall meetings, I guess we called it back then. And it was really to find out, how you doing? What are we doing? What are we not doing right? Could we do better? So again, it was to create an environment where people realized they have value and they are appreciated. Same in a college, or it should be any place, even in any other workplace, the recognition. Because if you recognize, then people get a sense that you do value who they are and what they can bring to an institution, whether it be a corporation or certainly a college. And a college, I think it's even more important because you're talking about young people who are searching for what they want to do. Most people think student comes in thinking they're going to be this, and they are that, but they forget about all the other pieces of growth and development that they're going to be confronted with. And that's the challenge, I think, for them. How are they going to function in the community and society when they leave, even though they pursue the dream they always had, but it's a matter of personal development. So in all those environments, but especially in the university, reflection by the student of their activities and their life, and their relationships, I think is critical to prepare them for what it's like when there's not the major safety net of family outside on the day-to-day basis.
I guess the biggest thing for me is I'm curious is like, what is your definition of helping others? Because like, where did you come from where you wanted to help others so much, not only with their education, but their mental health? Why that?
I really don't. I think just by the fact that it was a profession that I wanted, that I pursued, and even for myself, didn't realize the extent of that involvement until I got through the program and experienced the program. From an academic standpoint, it was what I thought it would be, but then the implementation was a matter of being with people on their journey. And then when you get into a university, it's even a greater challenge and I think a greater opportunity. The students need to get to know who their leaders are, whether not only the faculty, but certainly their deans and presidents. And that's not really, regrettably, I don't think that's as widespread as it should be.
What was your profession? What did you go to school for?
Yeah, counseling. Yeah.
And was that something that you always wanted to do?
No, I think later on, because I was liberal arts undergraduate, and then I guess doing some summer work, I got exposed to it. It was at a Catholic Charities, and I got exposed to it, and I said, yeah, this may be something I like on the counseling side.
So you were exposed to it, and you're like, I'm just going to take that and run with it.
Try it, yeah.
And did you see anything else that you may have want to run with, or you just saw that and that was the first thing you were like going?
I think that was really where I did. I think that was the first that I really got into working with people in that sense, and that was a full-time career in the beginning.
And so, did you start at Blue Cross, or was it?
No, I started at the charities.
The charities.
Yeah.
And then you worked your way up, and
charities, and I went to Seton Hall, and then I went to Blue Cross.
That's
And then
fantastic.
I just did a lot of volunteer work after Blue Cross,
If you
community development, et cetera.
and if you look back on your life now, did you think that you'd be in such a powerful leadership role that which you are and which you have been for years?
Well, I don't know about the word powerful, but certainly a leadership role. No, I did not. Um, um, life unfolds, and even you learn that in counseling, or if you go through counseling, you learn that life unfolds, and you can't prejudge where you're going to be 5, 10 years from now, and you got to take advantage of it. But the only way you can take advantage of it is by reflecting on what's happening to you today, tomorrow, um, and seeing how that relates to your interest, to your comfort level, to your happiness. I don't mean to be philosophical,
Yeah, you
but
did.
that's what Plato says. It's a happiness issue that we have, subtle how we find it, but that then helps determine who you are and where you're comfortable. And so, as it unfolded, I think I'm much more present and involved today than I was even at Seton Hall, because at that point I was still learning, although I was president to the community very much so, but more so here, again, because you learn if you reflect, you learn.
How do you reflect?
Just by daily thinking about, or frequently, if not daily, certainly more than weekly, how to go. Is this really what I want? Is this really what should be done? How can I help here? How can I further this? Whatever the goal at that point is of the institution that you're in,
I
or
don't know.
organization.
I don't know how familiar you are with. Have you heard of self care in the professional development industry?
No.
So self care is something that people do. Some people kind of glamorize it on social media, where they have a day where they go to the spa or they take care of themselves physically, mentally, and just do everything that makes them happy, but also feel relaxed. A lot of that has to do with journaling. Again,
Mm-hmm.
going to the spa, getting their nails done, or even doing face masks, simple skincare.
Sure.
If And you say that you reflect. I think that's a version of reflecting that some people do, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree that it's important to take care of yourself in that manner, in order to not only be successful, but just in the daily habits and just the wear and tear that life gives you?
I believe reflection is essential, whatever form or modality it takes. And I think the universal key element of reflection is that you stop doing what you're doing and think. And I think whatever it takes, however it takes being at a spa, takes it being whatever, refreshed somehow, sitting in the sun, whatever, or just walking, or just being alone on a park bench. I think that is critical to reflection and to your own well-being and mental health.
You say that you didn't want to be philosophical in the beginning, but I love that. You said, it's about happiness and doing what's right and all that. Do you think that a part of success in life is to be happy, or is it to basically do what's necessary?
Oh, I think it's a combination of both, but the ordinate play is happiness. It would be like living hell to do something because I need to do it, but I'm not happy at it. And some people have to do that for survival. Um, God knows there are people, families that need to do things just to survive living. That may not lead them to happiness, but it leads them to preservation. That's why if you're not in that situation, it's a fool's journey not to reflect.
Absolutely. Les Brown had a quote. Les Brown, the motivational speaker? He had a quote that said, from another person that said, why do people fall for unknown hells or known hells instead of unknown heavens? It's because they're comfortable. What do you feel about that quote?
Well, I think you don't really journey unless you're uncomfortable. You need to go where you haven't traveled. You need to go, and I'm not saying you just fly in the dark, but you need to expand your horizons. You need to expand your experiences, because you're going to see, it's like a diamond. You're going to see, depends how you hold it, you're going to see different light's going to shine on that differently, and it's going to reflect and refract differently. And just to be comfortable, you're not journeying, you're just plopping yourself down.
I like that. And lastly, what is your advice for people who are struggling to find their career and passion?
Talk to someone. Talk to someone. Don't try to do it alone. Talk to someone you have confidence in, you trust. Don't whine. No poor as me. I think everybody has the opportunity to do something. Even when I saw multiple handicapped disabled coping with life, living their life, smiling, etc., if they can do it, any of us can do it. And I think, but the first step is realize, no woe is me. Just get out there, talk to someone, reflect, ask questions, challenge yourself. But just don't sit there and be a victim of time.
Wow. I like that. This has been an episode of Elephant in the Room with our topic today, Mental Health Matters. President Petillo, it's been an amazing conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always great seeing you, being with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Luke, you can stop it.
Good.
How was that?
Good. Great.
Yeah.
You're really getting really good at this.
Thank you. I did about 7 of these so far with other people. And I would just want to thank you so much for coming on here. I know you're a very important man and, you have a lot of things to do, but I really do appreciate, and it was a lot for me to have you get on this podcast.